campus health teacher and the 100 Health Show. 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 100 Health Show.
All right. Listen, Abundant Health Services. Listen, we are about keeping it 100 so you can live past 100. That's why we titled this show the 100 Health Show. So I want to not delay things any further and introduce to you guys my brother, listen, my friend, the man of the hour, Mr. Jamie Nails himself, former Miami Dolphin, also Buffalo Bill, Mr. Jamie Nails. Welcome to the 100 Health Show, sir.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me once again. Thank you for having me.
All right. So I want to make sure I address the obvious elephant in the room, which is something that took place on Monday night. There was no plan to talk about that or deal with that, but I think it would be robbery to not at least take a moment of silence and create space just to acknowledge and pray for the Buffalo Bills family, for the family of the gentleman involved in this, tragic accident and an injury, and for everyone involved. And so I just want to go ahead and pause for a minute. And if those of you who pray, please, if you just take a moment of prayer in honor of Mr. DeMar and his family. Thank you guys so very much. So I'd like to give you, the man of the hour, an opportunity if you wanted to. This episode will air on MLK Day. I don't know if you wanted to just take a moment to, say anything to your former family or anyone out there, just to maybe, concerned before we get into the rest of the show. Jamie, over to you. I don't know if you guys can hear me because I've been booted out of Zoom before.
Jamie, if you're talking, Jamie, we can hear you.
Hello?
You were unmuted and then you're muted again, Jamie. Can you try one more time?
Okay, do you hear me now?
You're good. Yes.
Okay, yes. I was just saying I wanted to send prayers up to him and his family and the Buffalo Bills family. And, it's something that was unprecedented, something that we've never seen before. A guy, hard stop on the field. And, it's scary, because every guy that plays, never, when you're out there, you never really think about, we suppress the all the things that could happen to us. We know that they, going in is possible, but you suppress it and you go out there and you give it your all. And then all of a sudden you see something like that happen on what seemed to me to be a routine play. And, it just kind of sets you back for a minute because you know that, he didn't do anything out of the ordinary and that could be you laying there. I think sometimes we kind of take for granted guys putting their actual lives on the line when we actually see them play and we look at them, we look at players as, these big tough guys that make all this money, but they don't really see all the stuff that goes into it, a young, healthy man in the prime of his life, something like that happens. So even it's just kind of scary. It's just kind of scary. So we just want to send prayers and wishing a full and speedy recovery for him and his family. And we just, like I said, we just keep him in our prayers.
I concur. I do plan to do a special episode with a team physician and the director of sports medicine at the University of Miami on this topic. So if those of you who are interested in, talking a bit more about what happened on Monday, I'll be doing this again on Sunday at 5 o'clock. But without delay, I want you to take a moment and introduce yourself to everyone, Jamie, and tell them a little bit about you and what you, have done. And we'll get started with our first question of the hour.
Okay, like you said, my name is Jamie Nails. I play college ball at Florida A&M FAMU Rattlers. Got drafted by Buffalo, spent 4 years up there, and then I spent 3 years in Miami. So, well, actually 4 years in Miami. So a total of 8 years in the NFL. And now I do refereeing and umpiring of baseball and football back in my hometown. So that's pretty much it. I have a little foundation that we do. We help kids with their testing, their ACT and SAT to get into colleges and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. So now, as I explained at the top of the interview, that this is a special episode in honor of MLK Day, which is why the focus is on winning with HBCUs, and knowing that Jamie and Tyrone Poole and Dr. Lorenzo were all people who were involved in or went to HBCUs, which stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. And I really just wanted to take a moment. And I had asked them all to, share one of their favorite MLK quotes. And I'll go with mine, which is from the speech that we played at the beginning, where he said, "Always know that you count, always know that you matter, and always know that your life has ultimate significance." Jamie, do you have one?
Yeah, one of my favorites is when he said,
"This meeting is being recorded."
One of my favorites is when he said, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." And with everything that's going on now, I mean, that you couldn't have said it any better for the time that we're living in right now.
Absolutely. I concur. Those of you who are tuning in live, I would love to know some of your favorite MLK quotes. If you would drop them in the chat. Those of you who are watching us on YouTube, shout out to our YouTube family over there on the Abundant Health Service channel. Definitely drop it in the live chat. And I would love to see some of those, and we'll, perhaps read some later in the show. So with that, we're going to move on. So I love doing this in interviews and starting out. I call it like the stories, health stories. And so in 5 words or less, tell us about you. I just love the kind of almost like the trivia of that, of using 5 words to tell someone about you.
5 words or less. Let's see. Supreme athlete with, I'm going to tell you that, supreme athlete and a child of God.
Hey, I like that. I like your 5. Got Tony on us. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm still working on my 5.
I got you.
So I'm not sure if Tyrone came in or not. Definitely let me know, Miss Kingdom Sparkle. I don't want to, just in case our other 2 guests chimed in a bit later. If not, I want to move on to the obvious question, which is why HBCU? Like, why did you, seeing as though the talent that you had and have, I still say, you're a talented individual. For a lot of people, they would not have chosen to go to an HBCU. Just keeping it real. Why did you choose to go to an HBCU?
Well, I growing up, my mom went to Fort Valley, so we would always go up to homecoming and things like that. And one of my coaches, he went to Albany State, so he would take us there. So growing up, the majority of my college experience that I was at HBCUs, at black colleges. And then as I got in high school and started being recruited, I went to several schools: Southern Mississippi, Kentucky, Auburn, FAMU, and then I took another visit, and I think that was to Georgia Tech. And when I went to those visits, the thing that stuck with me was the fact that each coach told me, they kept saying, "Oh, you have to go somewhere where you feel comfortable, because football is only 3 or 4 months out of the year, so you have to go somewhere where you feel comfortably socially." Because if not, that's when you kind of get into trouble. When when you're not acclimated socially, you start doing things and finding little mischievous things to get into. So I took that to heart. And my first visit was actually the FAM. So every school that I went to after that, I compared it to my time at FAM. And I mean, I just was where I felt comfortable. That's where, like I said, where the majority of my college experiences that I had before I got to college was with HBCU. So those other schools were really nice, and from a football standpoint, they were really, really good as well. But they told me that if you're good and you want to go play on the next level, they'll find you. So it was kind of like a no-brainer once they started telling me that. And then I saw the guys that were coming out of FAMU. So it was like the perfect storm for me. I got a chance to be in my element socially, and I got to be a part of a great football team. So that's kind of why I chose HBCU.
Oh, I love that. And I love that somebody gave you the message that, hey, they'll come find you, because I do feel like oftentimes I've heard, athletes say that was possibly, that was part of the reason, not possibly, that they chose not to go to an HBCU, which stands for Historically Black Colleges and Universities. So I am glad that you said that, hey, you know what? You can still be found. You could still get, that shine. You could still make it to the NFL or whatever, sport that you're trying to get to. You could still make it inside of, you could still win with the HBCU. That's basically the point that I wanted to make. So I call this next section of the show, Meeting Your Waterloo. So how is it that you were able to? Because, me and you both have been in around sports for a very long time. And, there are Division I schools. There are certain schools that get more visibility, point blank, period. So there are inherent challenges when you choose not to go to a Division I level school or a school with the most visibility, even if it's not, an HBCU. So how is it that you were able to win within being within a historically Black college and university?
Well, we had excellent players. A lot of the guys that attended FAM with me, they were actually really, really good. They and a lot of Division I, those Division I Bowl Championship Series schools did recruit them, but we had a few that couldn't pass the test, a few that had family members that were just alumni and stuff like that. So we were able to win because we had really good players. And then those games where we were able to play, like the University of Miami and some other schools, that's actually how they noticed me playing against University of Miami when we played. I think Ray Lewis and Kennard Lane, a lot of those guys were there, and the professional scouts they were looking at them, and they saw the game that I had against them, and then they kind of found me. But as far as visibility and things like that, I think Coach Sanders, Deion Sanders, he brought a lot of visibility and highlighted a lot of the things that were still going on when I was in college. So You know, now that he's gone, and I know he caught a lot of flack for that, but now, you know, I think over the last couple of years, more attention has been put on HBCUs. Even through Chris Paul and LeBron James, he's a sponsor for the FAMU basketball team, and Chris Paul did a documentary on FAMU, and you know, it's kind of people are kind of taking notice now, you know, but really it's actually like a how do you say that? There's nothing new under the sun. When you look at the early stages of the NFL and those guys, the majority of those guys, the great Hall of Famers, came from HBCUs. So it's kind of like it's kind of coming back again, and hopefully
Yep.
more and more scholar athletes and better players will start to attend those schools. But with the funding and stuff they have with these NILs, with the NIL. We need more people to contribute and more sponsorship at those HBCUs in order to get those players.
Hey, I like that. I love that you actually brought up the point that this is coming full circle, and that is where, you know, we started in a sense of getting to the league from there. You know, the historically Black colleges and universities played a very, very pivotal role, especially, like, you know, it's not like everyone could go, you know, other places as well. And so, you know, it was in-house, and I'm grateful to see the contribution that Deion Sanders and others have made. And that's one of the things that I like about, you know, Tyrone Poole and his involvement as well. And just, you know, other people who've made it on a pro level and still, you know, taking the time to give back and to give resources and, you know, some extra notoriety, you know, for sponsorship, and just, you know, even for young people to see that, hey, you know, this is a viable option. It doesn't, if you go to a historically Black college or university, it does not mean that you can't get picked up by the league, or that, you know, it's going to completely just eliminate your, you know, your choices. So
Exactly.
thank you, you know, so much for that. So I love the fact that there are young people that do watch. One of my former students is actually logged in right now, listening in. And so I always like to ask this question, especially for, you know, the middle school age ones that tend to watch a lot of my replays and reach out to me. I'm just still blown by how many kids still like go through my YouTube videos. So I'm asking this question specifically more so for them. So what message would you give 12-year-old you about winning with a HBCU?
I would say be you, go where you feel comfortable. But the HBCU experience, there to me, there's nothing like it. The culture, the atmosphere of the games, is second to none. The bands, of course, they always put on a show. But I would tell myself to just follow my heart and work hard and be me. You know, don't try to follow the crowd, or don't go anywhere because, you know, that's where people want you to go, or that's what they think is best for you. You have to go and make a decision for yourself. And you know, if you and find you someone, you know, whoever you look up to, you know, try to continue to stay on that path and be great. That's what I would tell myself. In fact, I just want to throw this in. Tyrone Poole, he was actually an influence on me because him and my brother were roommates in college for a spell. So I knew him before I even went to FAMU, and you know, I saw the videos and stuff of him working out, and that was also like an inspiration to me to, you know, like, you know, Fort Valley's a smaller school than FAM, and they found him, and he was a first round pick. So I mean, you know, just follow your heart and do what you feel is best for you, because sky's the limit. You know, if you put like my mom always said, if you put God first in whatever you do, there's no limit to your blessings. So I would that would be what I would tell my 12-year-old self. Just follow your heart, and follow your own path.
I love that. I really, really do love that. So now, this month, and coming up in another week, we will be celebrating the MLK Day of Service. And I'm probably one of the biggest Dr. King's fans, and I have, just been enamored with him from the moment I was probably in kindergarten and first began to really, learn about him and his speeches, and really also his other speeches. I'm telling you, that life blueprint is the one that really got me even more so than I Have a Dream. So in light of, our most famous dreamer that we are celebrating this month, how did you transform from just, or transition from just dreaming about, winning to actually winning, like actually making happen the thing that you wanted? Like, when did that transition? Like, when did you just stop dreaming about, oh, I want to play football, and actually, start doing it?
Well, when I've been playing football since I was 8, and I knew when I got older I wanted to go to college, and I knew my mom couldn't afford it. So I saw a few guys that I looked up to, a couple of guys from my hometown. A guy by the name of Dexter Carter, he played at Florida State, and he ended up going to the NFL. So that was kind of like, I see this guy and I'm in church with him every Sunday or whatever, and I saw that what he could do. And then I had another guy called Simpson. He ended up at Florida State as well. And he ended up going to Chicago Bears. So we come from a small town, and I saw these guys achieve what they achieved, and I just, said, if they can do it, I can do the same thing. So I started putting in the work, started getting in the weight room, started training, started running, started missing a couple of that I wanted to go to, just to keep my body right, keep my mind right. And once I did that, and then I got to college, I saw also, it took on another level of training and preparation, and then film study and stuff like that. So really, I guess to sum it up, I would say when I started being successful, when I started putting the real work in, the real training, the real film study, the real dieting and exercising, and focusing on nutrition, and like I said, even sacrificing, going out partying and stuff like that. That's when I started being successful, when I really put the work in.
I love that. You literally put the work in. And you saw an example. Like, I heard this guy, he's usually on this podcast with Dr. Eric Thomas, and he talks about exposure. And so it sounds like to me, you had exposure to something greater. You got exposure from in your environment. You saw someone that, hey, like, an example of, hey, it can be done. And that's why I think it's so important for each and every person to, you just never know who you may be inspiring and what they may end up becoming and doing. And it's just a domino effect that continues to pay it forward. So I love that you said that was a part of your process of how you actually started, to not just dream about it, like, but actually, do it, and you put the work in. And a lot of people want to stay in dream mode and not realize how much action, is required behind that. And so thank you for that. So now this section, my fun section, and I really want those who are listening in, those of you who are tuning in live, even if you're watching this episode when it airs on January the 16th, 2023, I want you to type in the comments now. I'm going to pose this question, and this is one of my favorite segments, which is called Boom Shakalaka. All right. So I got to make sure that I play this little bit, boom shakalaka, boom. So listen, I just need to know, brother, like, what organization, hey, boom. All right, is there a charity or a cause that you'd like to give a boom shakalaka to? And that question goes to everybody, but I want to start with you, Jamie.
Mental health would be one, but I would say more focus on brain injury, the things that the guys are going on right now in the NFL with concussions and things of that nature. It's so important that we look out for these guys and make sure that, we play a violent game and we hit with our head, and we it's like they say it's equivalent to offensive lineman is equivalent to getting in 60 car crashes, 60 small car crashes every game, because you're hitting somebody and you're hitting somebody and you're hitting somebody. And we take for granted that when we finish playing, everything's going to be all right, and in all honesty, the human brain is not made to be shaken back and forth, and jarred and that type of thing. And it's causing guys to, as they get older, to really act out of character and do things that they wouldn't normally do. And now it's getting to these even younger guys. I can't think of the guy's name for the Bucks that just died, and he had CTE from just drinking himself to death and things of that nature. So the mental health, but I guess a more focused, more central focus on things like Alzheimer's and Lou Gehrig's disease, those type of things that result from from playing in those brain injuries and stuff.
Absolutely. Like, I love that you brought up CTE, because I can straight up tell, and I feel like I'm still young, brother. Like, I'm still young. Like, it was still being debated, like, so I love the fact that, that movie Concussion was made, because I feel like it just blew the lid off and really gave it, a face, and that people could see this isn't something that was made up. Like, players are literally, it is a re-engineered car accident, play after play, down after down, point blank period, especially on the O-line, like your offensive line and your defensive line. Like, that is an engineered car crash. Like, I'm excited in the sense of that finally, like, people are now starting to believe like what has been going on for decades now, Jamie. Like, I'm just really excited to see that concussions is not just some foo or pretend thing or a way that a player is just trying to get out of the game. And that, I felt that was a lot of the mentality amongst like coaches when I initially came out, and got into, sports medicine. You want to sit a guy down. It's like, you got to go to war. It's like, he just got his bell rung. I don't know if you remember like those kind of phrases, that people would throw around as if it was like nothing. And we now see that it wasn't just nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm saying exactly.
There was a lot of denial.
Exactly. Guys are, they teach you to be tough, and I think that's why the situation that occurred Monday was so gut-wrenching to people, because you're trained to be these big tough guys, and we ignore pain. I've seen guys break fingers and the bone is sticking out the glove, and they snatch, somebody talking to him, they snatch his finger back in and the bone goes back in, and they tape it up and send him back out there. So I mean, those type of things, we're taught to be tough like that. But when you see someone fighting for their life, or and those guys, they, you've never seen that before. So I think when they cut back to the screen and you saw those guys crying and emotional and the looks on their faces, that type of thing, it just gave credence to how violent the sport is, and how, like I say, we take a lot for granted, because, we are, we are good athletes. We are in supreme shape and that type of thing. But, you people don't understand the magnitude that, or the things that those guys go through every week just to get out there and put on a show. And it's a game, man. At the end of the day, it's still a game, and like they say, you get paid a king's ransom to play a child's game, but the child's game is serious, and your life is literally on the line, and guys bumping heads. And, back in my day, when I was playing, I know guys getting knocked out, get their bell wrong, and the medical people come to the side and they say, how many fingers I'm holding up? And the guy sitting next to him will tap him, if it's two, he tap him 2 times, they say 2. Tap him 3 times, say 3. And he goes back out there and plays, because, that was the we call it the warrior mentality, but we're really putting ourselves in jeopardy. And now you see it now because of the lawsuits and everything. They have protocol where they have to take guys out. But we had an example earlier this year with the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa, where To me, he was concussed, but they said it was his back, you know. And then, you know, just to go to show you, they put him right back out there on the field, you know, that Thursday night. So, I mean, we like I say, we take a lot of for granted. The organization and the coaches and stuff like that, they care about you, but they have a job as well, and their job boils down to wins and losses. So that's the most important thing. And I've been in places where you know, when the guy's hurt, you know, coaches just kind of isolate you. They walk by you, they don't even say anything to you. So I want to, you know, like I said, just bring a little bit more awareness to the concussions and the things that those guys that we go through, you know, playing out there on the field.
Yo, let me tell you how crazy this is. So I got licensed in 2002. Jamie, do you know there was no concussion protocol? Like there was no formal concussion protocol. That's why when you said what you said, literally that was it. And it was very informal. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Exactly.
And so when you think about it, that wasn't that long ago. I mean, yeah, I know for some people they're thinking 20 years may be a long time. But when I think about all of the training, like being in school in the late 90s and, you know, finishing in early 2000s like that and getting my license and everything, and it still was not a thing, even though we knew and we could see it. So I'm just grateful that now at least there's a language, and I'm glad that there are families who have, you know, took it the financial route so that there could be attention that's, you know, put in on this. And not only that, like I think about, you know, like the future of the game. I think about the future of even, you know, how this may impact, you know, universities and the whole sports, you know, industry when it comes down to football, because the boogeyman has now has a face now something that I literally have only seen in textbooks. I called it CC. I think it's a commotio cordis or something like that, if it's even that. So I would have there's never a time that I've been on the sidelines covering a football game, Jamie, and I ever thought like a cardiac arrest, heart attack would ever happen, especially of someone in their 20s. Like I just never thought that possibility that that would happen, that would be that just textbook thing of theory. And now we know it ain't just a theory. This is very possible.
Yep,
you know,
exactly.
like, so yeah.
And that's the scary part. That's the scary part.
Yeah. And I think it's going to bring about some positive changes, I think, in the side of player health and safety. I know that I've been in my fair share of fights, cussing matches. I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. Like I've had to go to bat and get to the point of where I wanted to get violent, you know, when it came down to the protection of, you know, my athletes, because I understand that, yes, it's a business. You there to do a job, but I'm also there to do a job. And the worst thing that could ever happen is now, you know, my guy's gone or my girl's gone. Like, that's not all right. And then that conversation with the family, this is somebody's son, this is somebody's grandson or granddaughter or mother, father, husband, you know, brother, uncle. Like, these are real people. These are lives, and they exist in a connection of lives. And so I'm grateful in the sense of, it happened on one of the biggest stages outside of the Super Bowl. Like, Monday Night Football is huge.
Exactly.
And this was, it was live. Like, it's not even like you could really cut to anything else. And I just think like it's opened up an opportunity for some more, you know, some more conversations. And, you know, I'm very passionate about heart health. So this really, truly, I don't know, just lit an even stronger fire under me to continue to talk about heart health and heart safety. So I want to go to my next question, which is, how can we like get more of you online? Like, where can we follow you, connect with you, you know, that sort of thing?
I don't have a big online presence. The only thing I have a Facebook page, I think, and a Twitter account. So I don't even, and an Instagram account. I'm barely on those things. So I mean, I'm not, like I said, I don't have a big online presence. But if you know how to get in touch with me. So if you need anything, you know how to find. Everybody else, like I
Absolutely.
say,
Listen, you
my
know,
name.
and
You can go to my
we gotta
Facebook
go on
page or
the
whatever.
NFL show, the series. So when I make that happen, you know I'm calling you. We got to do that show together.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
All right. So then, are there any closing thoughts, or any homework assignments or anything like that you want to give us?
No, I just want to say, keep doing what you're doing. You're really educating people on health and awareness, and a lot of the little nuggets and stuff that you throw out as far as supplements and things of that nature. Those are great, and if people would really just listen and buy and listen to what you're saying and buy into what you're doing, I think a lot of people will benefit from it. People that, like I said, don't even know, drinking water or hydrating yourself and getting the proper rest. And like I said, the different supplements that turmeric and those different things that you talked about that help with different swellings and, like I said, all types of ailments in the body, that people need. And like I say, they don't even know about. So just keep doing what you're doing. Listeners, keep listening, keep following, because the thing that you're telling people, like I said, can change lives. And I know from a professional standpoint, being a professional athlete, and a lot of the things that I've had to do, especially dealing with my weight and my health and things of that nature, you're spot on. And like I said, just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And I'm just so grateful that, from our professional working days that we've been able to still maintain and stay connected to one another. And so do you have another final MLK quote before I give my one little health tip, and then I'm going to ask you all your question. I have a health fantasy question I want to ask you.
Okay. Well, my favorite Martin Luther King quote is when he said, "In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends." So I think that just resonates with me, because a lot of people say a lot of things, and they say, in your face, or they support you, but then when something comes up, they remain silent. Your enemies are gonna, who your enemies are. They're gonna speak and they're gonna tell you, but the people who say they're with you, but still are complicit with something else, are really not for you. And that they're even worse than your enemies, because at least your enemies, with the enemies, you know where you stand. But the silence of your friends, that's even worse. So that's my favorite quote by MLK.
Oh, I absolutely love that. That's right. And that's why I can't be silent on what matters, Jamie. And I want to, give you guys an unusual tip, which is really, truly, I really want to encourage you guys to get tested. Go through heart health testing. Request this. You don't need to know the scientific name. Your doctor will know these initials. Like it just don't add a stumbling block in your way. You can message me separately if you want to know the long scientific name, but all you need to know is the initials, really and truly, because even with physicians and those in healthcare, that is how we speak about it. So I highly recommend, if you know that heart disease, hypertension maybe runs in your family, get yourself a CAC test done. All right, CAC. Angeline, if you could drop these initials in the chat. And then the other one is a CIMT. And a CIMT, that of the three that I'm going to mention, is probably the most important at this point. If you are at least 21 and over, I used to say, 40 and over, but at this point, seeing that of what's been happening with people in their 30s and their 20s. And when I started on this journey in 2018, I think the age was at around 26. Then I saw it drop down to 25. Then now we're at 24-year-olds having heart attacks, and not just, the gentleman on Monday, but I'm telling you, this is a real thing. I'm telling you, as someone who's Gen X, I'm concerned about Gen Z. I'm concerned about millennials, and it's not okay with me to sit by idly and watch people have heart attacks unnecessarily, when there are certain things, at least if you were aware of your health numbers early on that you can make some small modifications to do something about it. And then another test, depending on your family history, CTA. All right, CTA. So CAC test, CIMT test. I'm so sorry, y'all. CTA, that's my country twang that I get it mixed up. So the CIMT one, if your doctor won't do it, I'm telling you, it's something that's worth it. It's $140. There's, I know that there's a online lab, a reputable one, by a cardiologist, Dr. Ford Brewer. Dr. Ford, like, brewing coffee. And I know that they do. So even if your own doctor doesn't, want to order one for you, or it's going to charge you some obscene amount, you can get them done for as little as $140, and get your results, done and gone over with you by an actual physician. I am not a physician. I'm an athletic trainer. Proud to be an athletic trainer. I think many people got to see what trainers do live in action on Monday, with what happened in that Buffalo game. So, I highly recommend you know your health numbers, and specifically your heart health numbers. The CIMT is going to let you know what's happening right now in real time. That one is super duper important, no matter what your weight is. And at this point, no matter what your age is, you need, I'm serious, you may not want to trade weight with me, but I guarantee you might want to trade those numbers with what my results are. So I tell people, like, you got to understand your heart health is way bigger than just those pounds on the scale. It's way bigger. These numbers right here is what matters when it comes down to longevity. These numbers right here matters when it comes down to whether or not you're going to end up, dying prematurely. There are people who are chronologically younger than me, but biologically and artery wise, they are a lot older. So it's important that you know your numbers. And then, I can't leave you without telling you, hey, make sure you're walking 20 to 30 minutes a day, hydrating, having reishi mushroom elixir, and then chaga. Chaga is something, if you find some concerning results from that CIMT or the CAC or the CTA test, listen, get yourself some chaga by a reputable company. I use for myself and my athletes, and even former athletes that come to me, 4-Sigmatic. I can't have some, stuff that don't work. I can't play around like that. Otherwise, I ain't getting no business. You feel me? Like it's instant. You got to be able to give real-time results and give people real products that actually work. So 4-Sigmatic is who I use. I don't have any kind of financial ties to these people. I'm just telling you of a product that works. And I love their chaga products. I love their reishi. And those are 2 ways that you can get started on, doing something powerful and meaningful for your heart health. And then if you're looking for fruit, go hard in the paint on some kiwi this year. Go hard in the paint on some ginger green tea this year. And then make sure you meditate doing a 4-7-8 breathing meditation. So if you're liking this, I hope that you'll come back. I'm going to be talking to 2 of the GOATs in sports medicine this Sunday at 5:00. Also, there's a coaching program. Angeline, can you give them the date on that? I believe Debbie is here. My date I know is in February, but it is a great opportunity to connect and get some live coaching and teaching by some experts to help you elevate your life and elevate to the next level. And I'm really, I'm going in, I'm doing a deep dive in my segments and my sessions as well. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this first episode. I apologize. I'm not sure what happened with Tyrone Poole, but we'll certainly, reschedule with him and Dr. Lorenzo. But I thank you so much, Jamie, for being here for us and always being willing to just pour back into even by young people. So do you have any final words that you want to say before I ask you this health question?
No, I'm good. Like I said, just keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, people listen to you, you change their life.
Oh, thank you so very much. Oh, I didn't say my boom shakalaka. Mine is Books in the Hood. I thank all of you, most of you who are tuning in live. You have supported and helped me through the years of getting this thing going. So I want to know from everyone. So I call this health fantasy, like, Mariah Carey song Fantasy. What's your new health day resolution? Like for one day, just one day, for tomorrow. So it's like a health goal, like that you would have. Like I love the word resolution because at the root of it is the word resolve. It means like you're determined to get something done. So what are you resolved to do tomorrow? Like what's a health habit or something you want to do health wise? I want to see this chat lit up with what your health fantasy will be. What's your one day health resolution for tomorrow? I'll start with mine. Mine is going to be to make sure I get my reishi mushroom elixir for the evening time, because I have been skipping out on that and not keeping up with it like I usually do. So I'm going to make sure that my health fantasy for tomorrow is to make sure I get my reishi mushroom elixir in. What about you, Jamie?
Probably one day mine tomorrow probably be to increase my vegetables, because I don't eat a lot of carbohydrates, and I've really been just kind of on the whole protein thing for the last couple of days. So I got to get my vegetables back up.
All right, I like that. Angeline, do we got some responses in the chat here before we close out?
We do. We have a Shawnte who's going to get up between 5 to 6 a.m. to exercise and stretch. I said that I'm going to drink my gallon of water. I even have it next to me right now, and I'm already behind in my time. Christina Howard says she's going to walk for 20 to 30 minutes in the evening. Natasha is going to bring her water intake back up. Let's go, ladies. And David Millett has said he's going to also drink more water. Here's my drink water, people. Yes. Talisa has said she's going to increase her fiber. Let's go. I love it.
Yes, I am super, super happy to hear that. Also, Health Class USA, if you guys want to know how to get more free energy, like really, truly help your mitochondria, don't miss Health Class USA this Saturday, 12:30 p.m. And if you want to add any names to our health prayer list, please drop them in the chat and listen. And Angeline's gonna make sure that I get those, so you can drop it in the chat. You can send a direct message to me or to her, or if you don't mind just putting it in that, or you can message me separately, or you can email it wellsofwellness@yahoo. If you're connected with me online, you can DM the names. That will be at 12 noon this Saturday. So, but Health Class USA, I'm telling you, we starting out real strong, getting lit in our energy. We gonna have that winning energy. And then I will also be actually doing this with Angeline. We're coming through on January the 20th inside of the Mom Link on Clubhouse, a power hour. I'm talking about winning energy, and we are going to go through some serious exercises with laughter yoga and other forms. And we're going to have a powerful interview with Angeline and really delve into that topic. So you do not want to miss, winning energy. So this month is all about that energy, and I hope and pray that you guys will take the time, especially those of you who are watching this when it airs on Martin Luther King Day. I hope that you will do some form of service, and I hope that you will look at maybe some of these organizations that we gave a boom shakalaka to, but serve your humanity, even if it's not a formal organization, but take the time to serve. So are there any questions? I want to just give a quick moment. If any of you have any questions for our special guest, now would be the time. You can raise your hand before I give the final MLK quote and we get up out of here. So are there any questions? Any questions?
I have a question for Jamie.
All right, Angeline, go ahead.
So I'm totally fangirling, but Jamie, at what age? Because my boys play football, right? And my youngest just started Pop Warner too. I have two questions actually. So one is, did you ever play Pop Warner football? And two, at what age did you because at what age did you know that you wanted to play and like be part of the game? So my boys, my middle child especially, his heart is there. So I just want, when he hears this replay, I want to be able to share with him.
Okay, yes, I played Pop Warner football. In actuality, I started when I was 8, but I was supposed to be 9. And I was always like the young cat out of all my friends. So all of them were signing up for football at 9, and I was 8. But I was bigger than them. So I told the guy I was 9, and they kept telling me when I had to bring my birth certificate in or whatever. When he saw I was 8, but I was bigger than those guys, they still let me play. So I started. Yeah, so I started when I was 8, and I guess when I knew I really, really, really wanted to play football was when my first year playing, and we I think, matter of fact, my second game, I believe, they had me at running back, and like I said, I was this big kid, man. I was just running over everybody, and we played some guys that were about 2 years older than me. They were 10. And these were still my, school buddies or whatever. And I ran over a couple of them that was talking trash in school that day. And after that, it was kind of like, I had my chest poked down. And I was like, I can do this. I'm pretty good, So that was kind of like my moment when I was like, you know what, this is what I really want to do, And and my brother, he was a big sports fan, so he would always put football on TV and stuff like that, and basketball. And I never really wanted to watch it, but I always enjoyed playing. So, that's when I started. And like I said, your kids now, football is one of the things I always say, especially when you have little kids like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, those kids of that age. Mm-hmm. One of the things football really taught me was discipline. It taught me how to work with others, but it also taught me discipline, to follow instructions. How what to do, when to do it, how to be silent, when to be still, all those things. You have to listen to your coaches. They're kind of like fathers out there. So it taught me a lot of discipline.
I love that. And I love that you said that you love to play it versus watching it, because I can't get my middle child to watch it worth nothing. He's like, I just want to play, Mom. So that makes me feel okay.
Yeah, no, I hated it, man. We only had one TV in our room, and my brother would put it on football, and I wanted to watch cartoons or some kind of, funny show or something like that. But but I love playing, but I just didn't want to watch it.
So good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Anyone else want to ask a question?
I mean, I can go all day if I can ask.
You can ask both of the questions.
I'll mute my mic. Go.
Did you ask your second question though, Angeline, or did you?
Yeah, I got my second question, but now I have a third. But
okay, go ahead. It doesn't look like anyone else is raising their hand, so you can go ahead.
I'm having too much fun. This is what happens when you introduce me to people. Health. I don't know if you want me back, but
well, you're gonna have fun on Sunday too.
So Jamie, my eldest is in wrestling, and my middle, who's the football, who wants to be, in the NFL and all the things, he just started youth wrestling. What are your thoughts on wrestling and then weightlifting as off-season stuff?
I think any sport is good. Every sport a kid can play helps with other sports. Wrestling is good. I used to wrestle in junior high school and high school. It was good because it teaches you leverage. It's probably the most in shape sport that you have to be in, because it's just you by yourself and you're wrestling for whatever 2 minutes, however long each round is. I don't know how long the rounds are at that age, but I know in high school we had three rounds for 2 minutes. So it's great for getting in shape. Basketball is also good. And you'll be surprised at how many guys that played in the NFL were actually good in like other sports. I know Ricky Williams, he got drafted to play baseball when he came out of high school. I know a lot of guys that played basketball in high school and ended up being, great football players. So even Allen Iverson, I played with a guy that played high school football, Allen Iverson, and he used to talk about him when we were in college. And I was like, it was before he went to Georgetown and blew up or whatever. But they were talking about him, and I saw an actual game tape of him. He was the quarterback, and he was pretty good. I mean, he was actually really good at quarterback. But you never thought that guy would transition from playing quarterback to AI in the NBA. So. And then Charlie Ward, he was a two-sport player, basketball and football. So any sport that a kid can play, me personally, I recommend put them in all the sports because each sport has something that can translate over to another sport. And then at that age, they're still trying to figure out what they're really good at, what they really like. So I would encourage them, wrestling's good, basketball, any sport that they can play, I would encourage them. I would encourage you to encourage them to do that as well.
Thank you so much. As a boy mom, I love hearing that because sometimes I feel like I get them too busy. It's just football's my heart. So when and my husband coaches. So when we have kids on the team, they're like, "Oh, we can't go because of baseball." We're like, "What are you talking about? We need to be over here for football." That's what I'm like.
We have
put
that
it
problem.
Off season.
Yeah, we have that problem as well. A lot of kids play travel baseball, so they're actually playing travel baseball during the football season. But like I said, at that age, they're just still trying to figure out and have fun. That's the main thing. So as long as they're having fun in any sport, like I said, I encourage them to participate in all the sports that they can.
Love it. Thank you so much. And thank you for letting me ask all my questions. I'll mute the mic and pass it back to you, Al.
Oh, no.
Absolutely. I love it. All right. So before I give that closing quote, anybody else have a question for Jamie? Anyone else? And I agree with you, Jamie. I think you should let the kids play as many as they want, just in the sense of they, are testing out and seeing what it is that they, may or may not, and they may transition into something else. So I like having that exposure to multiple, sports. David, welcome. Is there anyone else that has a question for Jamie before we close? All right. So this particular quote I love because it really focuses on, and I think it just really puts a linchpin in a lot of the whole point of the message with Dr. King, which is he said, hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So he was very clear on his purpose of love. And so I'm very clear on my purpose with this show and with, what it is that God has put me here to do, which is heart health. And so I'm very clear on the fact that this is health education that keeps it 100. So you'll live past 100. So I invite you to come back this Sunday, 5 p.m. We're going to keep this conversation going with two sports medicine pros that are truly, we're going to unpack all the things of what just happened this past Monday. So thank you so much, Jamie. I appreciate you, brother. And I promise you, I literally just got the message today. So when I do go in and connect with the producer from the NFL, the radio show that they do, me and you are going on that show together. I don't want to do it alone. So
okay,
yeah.
I got you. And thanks for having me.
I appreciate that. And as soon as I get those dates, y'all, I'm going to keep y'all posted when I'm on that serious radio show for the NFL. I am looking forward to it. And so thank you guys for keeping it 100. And, you can check out our YouTube channel. This episode, though, will air on MLK Day. January 16, 2023. So thank you guys so very much. Keep it 100.
You are now tuned into Miss Wells, America's Health Teacher, and the 100 Health Show. 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 100 Health Show.